Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Heartfelt Hustle, the podcast where we talk about growing your business with strategy, heart, and a little bit of real life magic. Today's topic might sting a little, but it's something I wish someone had said to me earlier in my journey. Over curating your brand might actually be what is keeping you stuck. I mean, no, before you literally scroll past or click away, hear me out. Because if you've ever delayed posting because it did not feel on brand, or maybe rewritten a caption, say 10 times, or I don't know, multiple times before hitting publish, or felt like your content looks great, but somehow it doesn't connect, well, in that case, this episode is for you. We are going to be diving into what overcuration really looks like and how it shows up even when we don't, realize it. Why it slows us down or why it slows our momentum down, and in one way or the other, it affects our growth as well. And how to shift into a brand presence that's powerfully magnetic and actually feels like you. Welcome to Heartfelt Hustle, the podcast that dives deep into the heart and hustle of entrepreneurship, where our dreams meet reality and where our passions fuel our success. I'm your host, Sush, a launch strategist and operations director, founder of an outsourcing agency. Most of my clients call me their right hand woman, and most importantly, a curious soul as well as a nerd. I am here to share my experiences. I am here to share my insights. I am here to share practical tips that will help you build a thriving and a sustainable business. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or someone looking to infuse more heart into your hustle, I am here and this podcast is for you. Each week, we'll dive into topics ranging from reconnecting to your passions, your soul, your why, and overcoming the roadblocks of your growth journey. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dig into this heartfelt hustle together. So, where do we begin? So, let's start here. Maybe, how about we start discussing this episode with why we're actually talking about this in the first place? Because, to be very honest, I have been through this, and that's exactly why I am talking about this with you guys today. Me being a MG who is all about experimentation, who is all about sharing her life experiences via this podcast and opening up discussions about maybe topics which we mostly do not talk about as business owners. Here we are. So, yeah, coming back to the topic. So, basically, like I was initially when I started my business, I was a freelancer, and then I came then certain things happened in my life, and I had my own experiences, whether it's burnout, whether it's me having issues with some of my partners who I had my previous agency with, because of which I did step out and start from scratch just by myself, all alone. That's when basically I moved away from my previous agency to me finding how am I supposed to make this work? Because so like my previous agency, I was more like this person who is behind the scenes doing all of the kind of things, but no one really knows who that person is, kind of person. So they know, like, the clients had someone else as the connection point. We were working, all of the things were amazing, but then somehow the people who I was working with did not connect, and that's the reason why I decided to step out and just do things on my own.
I was like, okay, but how am I actually gonna make this work? Like, you know, how or where do I start? What do I do? And that's when I was like, okay, I need to actually be in the front end. I need to focus on building my own brand, so personal branding and all of those kind of things. So, and this is we talking about me more than a decade ago. But, yeah, there's always the but, isn't it? So, the more, and me being someone who loves experimenting, testing, and all of those kind of things, sometimes there's a thin line between when you're really testing and analyzing things versus when you are falling in the trap of being a perfectionist and, either polishing things too much or curating them too much. So there was a time when I started realizing that, I was trying to actually build a very polished brand, and I was just trying to do things right all the time as per a certain definition I had in my mind. And yeah, so for me, back then, what mattered was that everything should look professional, it should sound a certain way, it should stay consistent. Like, I loved streaks and I was obsessed with them, and that would make people trust me and all of those kind of things. But the more I was doing that, what I started realizing was is that I was editing myself out of my brand. So I was rather actually editing myself out. And that's the reason why, for the past, I think I would say it has been, or it should be around 2 or 3 years, that I have been rather focusing on reconnecting with myself, because I'm trying to actually find my own, like, not find, but now, obviously, as I'm getting to know and understand more layers of me, it's becoming more fun. And, because it sometimes we don't realize it, but it can affect us to a lot of levels, So just when I was editing myself out of my brand, I started second guessing every single thing or every single piece of content. I scrapped, amazing, valuable ideas because I thought they did not fit the feed. And the worst part was that there was then a certain point of time when I wasn't again showing up at all. I was just like, my business was growing, of course, we were doing things, we were part of amazing projects. There's so much or so many still lessons and all of those amazing stories that I have from those times that I will be talking about, obviously, as and when whatever fits in, like this one is fitting in right now in this episode. But back then, I wasn't showing up at all, and it was also safer for me because, again, like I said, my business was growing, things were running, and so it was, safer for me to keep things that way. But again, I love experimentation and I love doing things and different things, instead of them just keeping them a certain way, me being me and me being a manifesting generator. So that's when I realized that something's off and I need to work on it. I need to rework on things. But it took me a lot of time, to work on it, to realize it, and then make all of those changes. And that's exactly why, so that you do not actually have to take all of that time. We are talking about this in this episode today. So, like, here's something very important, even if you've not noticed by now. I want you to understand. As online business owners, or in the online business culture, we would like to say, or we could say, just like we say corporate culture, how about online business culture? We are trained to believe that being on brand means being picture perfect. Yes, for photo shoots are amazing. We love them. I love them even when I do them or my clients do them. But that's different. We're not like I do share my life behind the scenes in my reels, my Instagram stories, my YouTube. I'm talking with you guys here, sharing behind the scenes of how I think, why I think that way, and so on and so forth. So, being on brand does not mean picture perfect or Pinterest perfect or Instagram perfect. But when we prioritize like curation over connection, we lose the very thing that makes our brand memorable, which is we, our voice, who we are, and how we think as well. So a pretty feed with no sound or real connection, basically what I'm saying, is just forgettable. It's not gonna resonate, it's not gonna connect. Whereas, like a consistent color palette without real energy behind it, I'm not sure it's gonna convert. Like, it's the person and the connection you feel, and then the copy, the visuals, the feeling, the energy, all of it when it comes together, that's when the magic happens. And I see this so often, brilliant business owners holding themselves back because they are afraid of being off brand, or, you know, they are just trying to be sure that they are showing a certain kind of vibe and all of those kind of things, or they're just being on brand all the time. But the thing is that there's like a very, yeah, there's a like okay, so let me explain this. So there's a chance you might have actually outgrown the version of the brand you've built even a year ago, because I have, like when I was basically when I was pregnant, and the way I wanted to take things ahead when it comes to my business was so much different than the way I'm actually taking it ahead from now on. So it's just been 2 years, like my son is 2 year old, and still a lot of that vision has evolved. The things have evolved. How I want to do things has evolved. What I'm learning has inspired me and given me a lot more ideas to see where I can actually evolve and enhance my ideas to. So it could be something when it comes to you as well. So if you're still trying to fit in to a certain box, which you did actually make for yourself some time ago, yeah, you are just restricting yourself. So let's go deeper into how do you know you're stuck in this? Well, let me list out some signs for you. Like, do you hesitate to post unless it's polished and perfect? Do you constantly tweak your brand visuals but avoid real connection? Like you've literally not shown up consistently, maybe as well because you're stuck in perfecting the strategy. You are maybe even exhausted by your own brand because it now has started to feel performance. If any of this is true, and if any of these resonate with you, yeah, there's this, you know, there's this misalignment, and there needs to be a lot of work done there. And the best part is, if I have worked on it, so can you. You know, you just need the right support. But right now, you have that awareness, and you're gonna start finding the right support is what matters. And like I said, I've been there. My clients have been there, and a lot of people are not actually talking about it, but it is something that should be talked about. So, what's really at stake here? Well, and why we're actually having this discussion. Well, your momentum is at stake because overthinking slows everything down. Your visibility is at stake because less posting means, yeah, kind of less reach. But when you're not actually posting, are you maybe like we've had that previous episode about conventional and unconventional ways of showing up. You could be maybe trying that out as well while you do behind the scenes work. That is something that can work for you. But if you're overthinking your connection as well, then yeah, there's a big problem because then people can't connect with someone they can't feel. So, again, something to work on. And because all of this is affected, your growth is affected as well because perfection is not sustainable. And eventually, I hate to say this, but it does burn us out and it does make us feel restricted as if we are, trying to fit in a box. So, yeah, if you are here to build a long term business with impact and income, working on this matters. So, what do you do? Well, I'm going to give you few things which can actually help you or start helping you, right? So, anchor into your brand essence, not the aesthetics. So, actually start thinking about your values or what what do you sound like when you are in flow. Let that be your guide instead of you trying to fit in, and see what's actually like, how are you thinking, what are you liking, why you're liking it. Try to make sense of your feelings and how you're feeling them, and try also sharing content that feels real instead of it feeling rehearsed. Like, we don't want rehearsed content here. We rather want you to actually have fun while sharing. And mind you, whether you are a kind of person who has a content calendar mapped out for 30 days, or you're someone who goes week by week, or you're someone who goes few days by few days, or you are someone who creates content day by day, you still can make this work, right? And let your brand evolve. Like, always remember, you're not the same person you were when you started your business or when you maybe last had a rebrand. That's not the problem. You have grown, so has your brand. You have evolved, so has your brand. And prioritize sharing behind the scenes over you actually polishing things up. So, yeah. So, like, even these few things are gonna help you so much because done is better than perfect and real is better than polished. So, connection is better than curation. So, I hope this episode gave you the permission to actually start being more you and just, enjoying the process instead of you trying to over curate it. So, your brand is a living, breathing thing. It's not a template you follow looking at someone else's stuff, or a template that you maintain like a landing page or sales page. Like, have you ever noticed even your brand visuals evolved maybe since when you started your business to where you're right now? So, why can't your actual brand evolve the way it feels, the way it sounds, the way you are? Because we are all here as business owners in one way or the other, building our personal brands, right? So if you're building a personal brand, it needs to be more you versus it being curated. Like, even Instagram feeds, I am not a fan of those curated feeds. Like, I tried them, I'll be very honest, did try them quite some years ago. If you go on my Instagram and scroll down, like way past down, you will find it. But yeah, that was just not me. I rather have like a very messy feed now, but that's just who I am. Trying, I'm testing, I'm having fun, I'm just giving myself the permission to play. And yeah, that's exactly where or how I'm taking things. So, if you are in a season where you're craving more clarity, structure, and momentum, then you always have the doors to Strategy Lab, which is where I work with all of you guys on this, right? So that's that space there. And if you're not yet ready to be part of the strategy lab yet, which I totally understand, you still can start, tapping into, apart from these conversations on the podcast, podcast, you can literally also be part of my email community or connect with me on social media, which is always another option. Yeah. I guess I'm just too tired now, but yeah, no. Any which ways, jokes apart. That's it for today's episode. But stay tuned, stay connected on social media, and yeah, that's it for today. Bye for now.